throughout the whole of the Western world, much of the world now, that we've seen since the Second World War. Like the whole, everything is being set up right now, guys. The foundation is being laid for another very massively disturbing scenario developing in the very near future. And if we keep these levels of lies and propaganda going, pushing into society, pushing into into our minds, over media, over social media, over mainstream media, over the constant endless non-stop demonstrations on our streets and all the rest of it, guys, to try to pump into our minds that Israel is this horrible monster in this world that's doing all these horrible things, you know, and you know, when the actual truth is the total complete opposite of what's actually going on, you know. And the only way you can find out the difference is if you get things from Israel's side, and if you see the information that they present and the facts that they present and how sound and how solid it all is. And you got to take every little piece of the puzzle, guys, and put it together to get the whole complete picture, not a tiny little a narrow portion of it where you see, oh, the poor Gazans, or oh, the poor Palestinians, or the horrible friggin' things that Israel are doing to these people and so on. That you got to think about the friggin' religion that motivates these people, these other people, and the hatred that they have toward Israel and Jewish people regardless, and the hatred that they have for the Western world regardless, because it's within their religion, it's within their belief system. They would be pumping that out regardless, guys, you know. And here is Israel doing their very level best to try to present their side of things. But what blows my mind even more, guys, is that you have ex-Muslims, more and more ex-Muslims coming forward, telling the world, this is my life story, this is what I saw, this is what I witnessed, this is what I know from what my religion teaches me, this is what I was brainwashed to think and believe, and all the rest of it sort of thing. You got more and more coming forward, telling their story from the actual experience of it, sort of thing. You know, the situation in Iran right now, you've got the Iranian Persian, the Persian Iranian people and the non-Muslim people of Iran that are telling the world what it's like in that nation under that regime, and the world is refusing to listen. So how can I have respect for mainstream media? How can I have respect for the vast majority of society out there that operates that way, that willfully chooses to only see one side of the freaking story, the issues, you know? So I am going mental in wanting to find some way to get my voice out and to talk about these things, and to be a voice with these other voices, to try to defend Israel and the Jewish people and what they're trying to do and so on. And then I've got to struggle with all my own personal issues and all the rest of it, so I need to keep my head above board, and to keep myself in this place, and to try to figure out how to improve my situation in the near future, get into better accommodations and so on, while I'm taking on this as well. And I'm taking on this, guys, because I'm a part of society. I still live in this friggin' world. I'm going to be affected by it at some point. I'm getting older. I got to face the prospects of what happens to everybody as the age, sort of thing. I do have like minor health problems nowadays. My knees, my bladder is shot pretty much, it seems like. I have problems with my stomach off and on. I don't know if it's nerves or whatever, or, you know. This thing with being addled and all the rest of it, struggling harder and harder. Sometimes I have to wonder if I'm not getting in the early stages of senility or something like that, sort of thing, you know. So all the things that come with aging itself for everybody, I'm increasingly having to kind of like come to grips with that and deal with that as well, sort of thing, you know. And growing older in a world and a society that is increasingly becoming completely mental, you know, completely mental, where there's no common sense anymore, there's no reason, there's no fair play, there's no balance, there's no, you know, nothing. It's just all this friggin' madness of all this fanaticism and extremism and all the rest of it, sort of thing, robbing the joy out of life for everybody, sort of thing, you know. So so right now, I mean, we are here in St. John's, guys, and we have a growing number of that particular group of people. And I'm weary. I don't care what anybody else thinks or if they think about it, but I'm weary seeing more and more of their numbers around here, sort of thing. I wonder what the overall intention is. I wonder if at some point in the near future we're not going to start seeing the same kind of madness that poor Britain has been going through now for quite a few years, a decade or more, probably longer than that, I suppose, but now really coming to the forefront, sort of thing. Parts of the United States and so on and so forth. I don't want to see that sort of stuff brought here to this province, to this island, to our culture, to any of our towns, communities and so on. Because it's like we're only a small population base anyway, guys. So I'm fearful that we could be very, very easily overwhelmed if we start seeing this kind of madness going on here. But it's like I got to say to myself, why should we be exempt from it? Why will it not happen at some point any more than it's happening anywhere else? And I'm trying to figure out how to prepare myself for that for whenever it may start to happen here, sort of thing. So we've had the demonstrations here in town, a handful of them, over the past couple of years, and no counter demonstrations. And this is what is poisoning me beyond words. I cannot be the only person in the whole of this bloody town that supports Israel. I can't be. I will be so insanely sickened and shocking and mortified if I were to know that I'm the only person in this entire town that really advocates for Israel strongly and passionately and really believes in this nation and people and can see all the bloody lies and bullshit and propaganda that's being pumped out and so on. That I'm the only one. I'm not claiming to be the wisest, smartest person on the freaking face of the earth, guys, but I can see it plain as day, and I'm the only one. So I'm hoping to good God there are others out there that are like me, that think the way I do and also support Israel as well. Not one bloody counter demonstration, not one in over 2 years, And thankfully we have been constantly inundated with it like we have in other places and all the rest of it. But then I'm sitting back and I'm seeing it everywhere else too. It's like this one side has dominated the narrative for over 2 years now. They have dominated our streets. And whenever the other side, recently Toronto had a march in support of Israel and the Jewish people in general and all that. It was very, very decent, very sensible, very respectful march. Saw some videos about it, sort of thing. And the madness of the pro fake peace side that is turning into a complete freaking cult now, as far as I'm concerned, is so intense and so vicious that they cannot allow an opposing voice for one bloody second ever, that they can't just leave people alone and present an alternative point of view and let the world know that there are people out there that support Israel as well, that believe in Israel, that don't believe in all the lies and all the rest of it, sort of thing. They have the right to present that point of view as well, guys. So being 61 years of age now and seeing quite a number of conflicts and problems, throughout the world, throughout my lifetime, sort of thing, I have never experienced anything like this in my entire life. When Russia went into Ukraine there several years ago, the world was completely on Ukraine's side. As far as I know, we still are for the most part. I hope we are anyway, being the normal response. And whatever support Ukraine got, it was natural. It was homegrown. It was people really felt for the nation, the people, and so on. That, and I believe and I hope still do. And but with Israel and what happened after October 7th and how things changed lightningly fast. It's like poor Israel hadn't even buried their dead yet. Still trying to find out where the bodies were and all the rest of it, and just trying to come to grips with what had been done to them. And the world had already freaking turned on them as fast as that. And that's been the narrative now for over 2 years. And right now, Israel is not even in control of Gaza, and you still got these bloody fucking demonstrations saying, stop killing the babies. Stop killing the babies. Like when you stop the genocide. They're not even in control of Gaza anymore. And these bloody fucking lunatics are still pumping out this lying madness, stop the genocide. They're not even doing anything anymore, guys. So how can a thinking person not see the orchestrated nature of this friggin' thing? You know, that it's all orchestrated, it's all planned, it's all designed to try to bring down the state of Israel, one way or another. If they can't bomb them into friggin' oblivion, then they'll try to bring them down some other way. They get so much of the road, so disgusted with them, and so turned on them that somehow they'll implode or whatever it is that they're thinking in their mind, sort of thing. But that is within their bloody belief system. They hate Jews. It's in their religion to hate Jews and to hate anybody who's not Muslim. They've been on a jihad toward the non-Muslim world for as long as they've existed. And we're being too damn slow to wake up to it and to see what's being done to us, guys. Far too friggin' slow. And we won't realize it until we're all completely taken over, and we're going to have to face conversion at the point of a sword or a gun or whatever the case might be. And that's when maybe then we may wake up and realize that how we've been played for you know. And I mean, the depression, guys, goes beyond like personal stuff that I'm going through, okay, like just trying to get ahead in life and being more comfortable and all that sort of stuff, you know. It goes way beyond that, guys. I mean, it's the realization I have been a liberal progressive person my entire life, okay. I have supported the left my entire life. Most of the causes that were really big on the left, I'm going to be careful, guys, because I know what's going to happen, and it's going to cut off midway, and I really don't want that to happen. The causes that were really big in the left when I was growing up, guys, I'm thinking about the civil rights movement. I'm thinking about the women's rights movement. I'm thinking about, well, of course, the original gay rights movement toward the end of the 60s, early 70s, and so on. I mean, I was a kid throughout the 70s, guys. I mean, I remember the 70s, you know. I remember the 80s more because I was a teenager in the 80s, but I also remember the 70s. I remember what was on the TV throughout the 70s and the issues that were big throughout the 70s, sort of thing, you know. And it all made sense. All these issues, like, why shouldn't people of color, we'll say, have the same rights as white people? Like, why shouldn't they? They're just still people. Why shouldn't women have the same rights as men? I mean, that's that's just common sense. Well, why wouldn't we do that anyway? Well, why shouldn't they? Like, why shouldn't they fight for those kinds of rights, sort of thing, you know? And as someone who is predominantly a gay male himself, you know, known very, very early on in my life that my attraction toward my own gender and all the rest of it, sort of thing, and it's just there. I never asked for it. It's just there. It's like any gay or lesbian person will ever tell you. Like millions of people the world over have been saying for decades and decades and decades. We cannot help our attraction. It's just there. It's just a part of us. How can so many millions of people be wrong and all be lying about it, guys? You know? So, realizing that I didn't fit into normal society because of my attractions and all the rest of it, sort of thing, pretty early on. Whenever I heard any issues about supporting like gay rights and lesbian rights and all the rest of it, sort of thing, it wasn't all this pride stuff that we're getting on with now, sort of thing. It was just like gays and lesbians fighting for the right just to be, just to live, just to have jobs, just to have some security, because anything could be done to you back in the 60s and early 70s and all the rest of it, sort of thing. You know, you could be beaten up, your life could be taken away from you, sort of thing. It was horrible attitudes toward gay and lesbian people back then. The whole medical field and what was done to people, you know, like you could be hospitalized and put in mental institutions because, you know, you were a deviant and all this sort of stuff. You were suffering from the sickness of homosexuality that you had to be, you know, corrected of and all the rest of it, sort of thing, you know. And how many people were traumatized and damaged, you know, because of treatments they were put through just for something that they couldn't even help, that they were just born with, just a quirk of their personality or whatever, they you know. And so it was just common sense to me growing up. Well, I mean, if gay and lesbian people are fighting for basic human rights, why wouldn't I support that, you know? And the thing is, guys, that was always considered to be a left-wing thing, a liberal thing. And so I grew up with the attitude of being proud to be liberal, proud to be progressive, because unfortunately every issue that I was aware of growing up as a kid back in the 70s from the left made sense to me. Why wouldn't I support this? And even though I also come from a religious background and all the rest of it, I was able to bridge that gap by saying to myself, well, Jesus himself, Yeshua himself, his primary message was love and being a better quality person, and you know, and just going through life like loving people and nurturing people and bringing peace in the world, and you know, and he was such a glowing example of that in his own personal life. It must have been passed down to us, you know. So I said, well, okay, then, well, how can he have issues with this then? He even back then, he must have had enough of a knowledge and understanding of people, nature, whatever, to understand that people couldn't help being that way. There's no strong, from him personally, from what's recorded of whatever he said, I'm not aware of any condemnation of gay and lesbian people. I'm not aware of myself. And I'm saying that, you know, because you also got to put him into the cultural framework of his time as well. And, you know, so you can't overlook that part of it, you know. But so there was no real conflict for myself personally, trying to live a good religious Christian life or whatever, and still trying to come to grips with what I knew was going on inside of myself with my own attraction story. Even when I'd been sitting into a church and listening to sermons that were condemning that very thing. You know, but it didn't take me very long to realize they were quoting from parts of the Bible and writings and so on that wasn't Yeshua's actual words, sort of thing. So okay, well, that was the cultural thing of the time, but this is a faith that's based on the teachings of this particular individual, and this particular individual doesn't seem to have had issues with this. So it's like, you know, so I could kind of like bring it together that way, guys, you know. And then other issues then about like being responsible with the environment and the climate crisis, and that's still being spoke about on the left sort of thing. That all seemed to make sense, and trying harder and harder to get off fossil fuels and develop alternative sources of energy and all that stuff, green energy and all that sort of stuff. You know, like it all made sense, like right on up through, like for the whole of my life, guys. Every main issue the left ever presented that I became aware of